Okay. There we go. So I was saying, like, I think the last few weeks I'd been saying, like, making jokes at the expense of Umineko Tuesday. I always say, like, different energy, less energy, whatever the case is, saying that Tuesday Umineko is of lesser quality somehow. Maybe I'm not being fair to my own streams, you know? Maybe I'm not being fair to Umineko Tuesdays. Maybe Umineko Tuesdays deserve a bit more. A little more faith. Not much, but a little bit more faith. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well out there. Whether watching live or archived. You're a speaker. You're a lurker. However you consume the streams, choose to watch me watching, reading Umineko. You're well. Good to hear. Good to hear. Last time, Erica annihilated a little girl. Yes, that was last time, wasn't it? Yeah, that was weird that she did that. I think that was supposed to just convey just how cold and heartless Erica is in her quest to prove that she's better than everyone. But she just bodied Maria. And that's saying something because I'm the mayor of the Maria hating zone. And even I'm saying she could have taken it a little easy, you know? How am I doing? I'm doing pretty good. Thank you for asking. Uh, First day back at work after a 3-day weekend. I've got. I'm hella nervous because nervous in the sense that, like, there's things moving and shaking at work, people moving around positions and stuff. Thankfully, I wasn't chosen to be one moved, and I wasn't wanting to be moved, so. But the determination of someone who got moved to a slightly adjacent team was chosen, and I'm gonna miss her. Someone on my team got moved to, like I said, an adjacent team, and I felt really bad for her because she was like, "I really don't want to move." So I was like, "Damn." Oh well. Like I said, on one hand, I'm like, "Great, I was not chosen." On the other hand, I feel bad for her. I'm much very sympathetic, empathetic to the happenings there. But also nervous about work because, like, in the next, like, 2.5 months to close out the year, I actually have a ridiculous amount of time I have to take off. I think I've mentioned this before. I have to take off time. It's one of those things where work is like you have to take off a certain amount of time or you're just going to lose, like, time off. And in theory, that should be good, and I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to be doing different things throughout the next 2.5 months here. But there's always, like, especially with this job, it's like the moment I take off work, I can't not think about work because I know the moment I come back, there's going to be a ton built up work left for me to come back to, and then that time sucks. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. It makes it so that it's pretty difficult to enjoy the time off that you need to do. But like I said, I think I have, like, I'm off more days the rest of this month than I actually am on. In November, I work only about half the month, and then pretty much the same with December. I think I'm off half the month of December. I am basically, to close out the rest of the year, I am basically off of work the same amount of time I'm on work. Just because I am bad at scheduling time off throughout the. I'm bad at, like, scheduling proportionally throughout the whole year. So then it gets to the point where I'm like, I have to bug my boss and be like, hey, I've got a ton of time, and she's cool about it, but I'm like, I'm gonna be off a lot. So it's whatever. It's fine though. Other than that, I'm pretty good. It's actually the weather here in Texas. It's finally becoming fall-like. Highs of, like, barely 80, mostly 70s. It's great. Uh, what else could I complain or say is good right now? I don't know. How much else? I have to start making student loan payments again starting this month. So, I don't know what to say. I was literally going to say, like, all you people on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, and come subscribe on Twitch, but I actually don't care to say that. I'm saying it now because it's like the joke, but instead of exactly, thank you. Instead of subscribing to me on Twitch, how about people of age that can vote people into power that are very much into eliminating student debt and getting rid of that problem in general? That is my impairment. That is my request to you. Don't like, comment, and subscribe. Go study up on what would the benefits of to the economy. This is like a book report. I'm assigning you an assignment. This is why you come to the Umineko streams. You want to get assigned a book report from me, all right? Alternatively, if you don't agree with my views, don't say anything. Just watch Umineko. Just... Actually, if you disagree with me and don't share the same views as me, do rate, comment, and subscribe. And go subscribe to me on Twitch. Yeah, I understand. I get it. I'm just joking around. So yes, last time we had that whole Erica versus Maria situation. We had another scene of the weird mystery person who was in the room and could not scream. Still very curious about what that situation is. Like I said, my best theory I can think of is that it's supposed to be like, I don't know if it's a literal thing. I don't know if it's supposed to be some kind of representation of, like I said, the brain, the section of Battler's brain that's supposed to be figuring out closed room stuff, or maybe it's not even Battler, but someone who's trying to solve closed room mysteries in general. It could be a physical person. It could be another layer. We could be getting our, like, 17th layer, like, plane of existence in this game. Maybe there's a plane of existence in this story where it's just people that are, like, manifestations of our brains. Does that make sense? Very long talk about the brooch. Yes. Oh yeah, we had we saw, I think it was last time, where we saw the actual proposal, but not really proposal, that George had for Sayo slash Shannon, where he was basically like, put this thing on your finger. Not so aggressively, but he was basically like, I want to see you put this thing on your finger. And she was like, okay. And then we saw fucking Cannon, I'm like clapping, Cannon be super awkward around Jessica. I can't necessarily blame him because I would not be any better in that situation, but honestly, I'm rooting for Cannon in general, just in general. Whatever he's got to do, I'm pulling for Cannon. I like Cannon in general. I haven't really talked about Cannon and my feelings about Cannon much. You know, I talk about the characters I really hate, like Maria, and then there's characters I really love that I always beat my drum for, like Kairi, Renove, maybe slightly a bit. But there's like some characters in the middle, like Cannon, that I'm like, you know what, I have pretty positive feelings about Cannon. I only want the best for Cannon. Oh man, we were discussing layers on its fun, something more. George was also talking about how he was a loser when he was younger. Is he not one right now? Question mark. Damn. Damn, shots fired at George. Honestly, okay, this is gonna make me sound like a big old loser. I don't know how well I conveyed it because I was in the stupid costume last time, but that moment where George was talking about, like, talking about empathetic towards things, I don't have the same view, and I don't think I ever in my life had, I don't think, the same point of view as George, where he is. I made jokes, I think, at the time about being like an incel or something. I never have had those views where I'm like, oh, if I just am a general nice guy, the ladies will be flocking to me, and if they don't, then that's their problem and not me. That's basically like kind of like a summation of what he was talking about. And while, like I said, I don't share those views, and I don't never had those views, I do see that, and him willing to accept it. I'm like, oh, I feel kind of bad for George, because he just thinks like he even talked about like I see people like Battler, and he's a fucking goofball, and how could women and ladies like him? And then I felt jealous because he was talking to Shannon, and while that's verging on like problematic territory, there was a part of me where I was like sympathetic. I'm like, George, at least like, I enjoyed seeing the growth, the self-realization. There is a bit of like, a culture thing. It's a culture thing as well. We were just like, there's definitely, because this is a story, but there are definitely people who act and feel that way, and then they feel like they're being burned and life is dealing them a bad hand, because maybe now, this is to separate the people who think they're good people and are truly not good people and they don't deserve shit. That's also a case, but I'm not saying that that's necessarily George's case. I'm just saying I know there are people out there that are like that it's like, oh, if it's not happening yet, I feel like I'm doing everything to be a positive force, and it's not happening, like now I'm gonna start turning angry and becoming like an asshole kind of thing. And there was a part of me where I'm like, I feel it. I don't feel that way, but I feel you. I feel bad for you. I feel empathetic for you, George. So that's my little soapbox moment for that. The fact that he can be self-aware and improve himself, yes, makes it way less bad. Yes. Him realizing that was a bad mindset, was good. I'm sure there could still be an argument to be made about the whole situation. There is still, I still have, if I really was getting into this, like if I was to do a book report now about George, there is a small, I don't know how else to put it, ick factor or problematic factor you could make an argument, and I would be listening and receptive to, that he is into someone who basically serves an extension of his family, and there's that whole kind of like aspect of like, oh, I'm saving you away from this type of life and yada yada yada. And then there's the counter argument, and like, no, she's totally into it. And then you could make the counter argument saying like, oh, but she's only into it because she sees him as a rescue thing. There's so many different like, I'm doing hand motions, but there's so many different like angles you could come at for this thing about George, and like especially George and Sayo / Shannon, that I feel way more powerful about than like Canon and Jessica. And I don't know why. Am I problematic because Jessica's just a woman? A lady? Am I problematic because I just don't feel it as bad as a power dynamic thing, even though technically she's the family that Canon directly serves? But then when I look at fucking George and Shannon, and I'm like, oh, it's kind of, there's a slight weirdness to this. Am I problematic? After 5 years or so, I don't know how long I've been doing this, of streaming, have I realized I'm the problematic person? Probably. I don't know. There's so much I feel like I could just talk about like relationships in Umineko. I don't know if that's anything, I don't think that's anything anyone wants out of me. I think people just want me to click start. But it's just like, in recapping these things, it does allow me to like awaken all these thoughts that I've had at the moment when we're reading, because I don't want to pause when I'm reading too often. But then like in the time frame between closing stream on Saturday night versus now we're Tuesday night, there's those days where I do think about like certain things. And yeah, I don't know. George, complicated. Lots of things happening. especially considering this relationship with Shannon thing. I don't know how to feel. I don't know how to... I think it's somewhat less weird, at least on Cannon's point of view. Not sure about Jessica's, because it was shown that Cannon really started falling in love when he saw Jessica offer Yashirumi a facade. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point to the difference between that and George and Shannon. Yeah, there is. I don't know. I keep falling back on that. Like, it does feel a little, for lack of a better term, like power dynamic-y, and then just like, but also like, what do I always say? I love love, whether it's real or fictional. And who am I? Who am I to say, Shannon, this is bad, this is not good, when maybe she's just into it? I don't know. But she has expressed it. The thing is, she's expressed that she sees this kind of as like the way out of this whole thing. That's the problem. That's where I'm like, I can't give her the benefit of the doubt. I can't do it. Getting my heart rate all up just on thinking about George, thinking about Shannon, thinking about Cannon, thinking about Jessica. We're just thinking about everyone on this Tuesday night. Brooche. So let's see here really quick. I gotta adjust the audio in my own ears. Let me see this. So then, what kind of magic is the furniture expecting from the brooch? They're hoping for something. They're hoping... I think this was, and I think this is, we ended on, this was Angie and Theater Lady. Honestly, I could probably remember her name, Featherine. There we go. But to me, she's just weird. I'm sorry. This is the other thing. I just gotta get it off my chest. If you're a fan of the lady who's having the book read to her or whatever by Angie, I don't even know how to describe her. The one with the horns. If you're a fan of that character, I'm sorry. Might as well lump her in with Maria. In my eyes, like, just like, what are you bringing to the table, sister? What are you bringing to the table? You're like this narrator kind of thing. She seems like she's supposed to be a shepherd to both assist Angie in realizing what's happening in the story, but also Angie then, in that case, is the stand-in for us. Like, right now, a lot of the times we've been, like, technically, Battler is supposed to be our gateway as the character in the story. And we kind of see a lot of things through, most of the time, through Battler's eyes. But in these episodes where we've had Angie, like, introduced, then whenever she's on, she's very much takes that role. And to me, she feels like, you know, this Featherine witch of theater going or whatever is very much seems like the person who's supposed to be speaking to us, the reader / player. But I just, I don't know, man. I don't know. She is a witch condescending. You said, did I say something that's condescending towards her? Even more than Nanjo stands? Honestly, I'm more sympathetic to the 2.5 Nanjo fans out there. I feel you. I get it. I've liked characters in stories that get no love, and they're very milquetoast, and they're just very unexplored as a character. I get that. I'm sympathetic. Talking about sympathy again, I'm very sympathetic to you people. So I know there are literally ones of you out there who are big Nanjo fans. I'm speaking directly to you. I get it. I've liked unimportant characters before too. It's how it works. It's how it works. that's how I end Oh my god. Alright, here we go. Jessica says, a golden butterfly brooch? Probably move my keyboard here. There exists a magic charm that the Golden Witch Beatrice gave to Shannon in exchange for smashing a mirror. And which made her love bear fruit. I read that weird, but and which made her love bear fruit. The love has bared fruit. Bear fruit. That's what this is. For now, feathering feels like more of a narration tool than a character, though. I feel you. Exactly. That's all I'm trying to say. And this goes back to my thing. I don't necessarily need other people to agree with me on this point, but I like Angie as a potential for a character. But to me, she's always felt like the sections that she's been in now, episodes 4, here in episode 6, it always feels like she's getting put into story sections that kind of just slow everything down. And not for like a good reason. But I get what the game or story is trying to do in theory. I don't know. I just feel like I just can't shake the feeling that Angie's kind of done dirty, just slightly. Again, not necessarily saying people need to agree with me on that point of view. I just feel like Angie has a ton of potential as a character. And like here in this episode, she comes back and I'm like, oh shit, Angie's back. And it's like, oh no, she's just weirdly in this weird thing. Okay. okay. All right. And her guard was there for like all of 2 seconds. But honestly, we don't need him. It's fine. It's fine. That's fine. From his pocket, Cannon pulled a single wing from a gold butterfly. Though it was a single wing, it was easy to tell from its shape that it had originally been part of something with a butterfly motif. The magic of this brooch gave Shannon the chance she needed to start a relationship with George-sama. However, before that magic was fully realized, she left it to me. So, thanks to the power of this brooch, I gained your affection, lady. That's not true. I started liking you because of my own honest feelings. This is kind of weird. Imagine you're Jessica, and this person you're pining after tells you like, oh, the only reason you like me is because of this magic brooch. And you're like, what? Huh? Thank you very much. You're a human, so you do not believe in witches or magic. It's only natural. However, as furniture created by magic, my very existence here is proof that the miracle of magic exists. Sorry. What are you talking about? Jessica tried to make sense of Cannon's words. However, she couldn't understand and had to ask him to repeat it, wearing a stiff smile. Like, what nonsense are you talking about? Both Shannon and I need magic to succeed in love. The key for that is this brooch. I stepped on it and crushed it, so we each have one part now. The brooch had lost its power when it was split in half. However, if it was ever joined together again, its magic would be revived. It would revive the miraculous power that could join furniture and a human together. However, a single brooch can only grant one person's wish. Only one of us furniture can be joined by the single brooch. That was the final seed of love, a spark of love, which the old, shrilly laughing Beatrice had sown. The old Beatrice had said that humans tormented by the spark were like ripe fruit, which she cruelly used for her own enjoyment. However, magic infused within the seed was real. It was the only crystallization of magic that the Golden Witch Beatrice ever left in this world. Its glint increased. Huh? What the? It's okay. Just audio there. Okay, but please, don't look right at it. It'll blind you. The glint grew even stronger, shining like the sun. Even without Cannon's warning, Jessica wouldn't have been able to stop herself from covering her eyes with her hands. Look at it. As the light grew stronger, a sound like the roar of the wind or the tide also grew in intensity. The sound of the wind and rain outside had already been overwhelmed. Jessica could no longer even stand, and she crouched on the floor. Flood of sound and light. Until it withdrew, Jessica could do nothing but moan. Don't moan. No moaning allowed. Wow. Look at that. Alright, well, thank you for watching tonight's stream. I always gotta make that joke. It's automatic. Ah, Kumasawa. Come on now. It's okay. Or come on now. Come on. It's okay now. Let's hurry. I hope father likes sweet foods. Oh, yes, he does like them. In fact, he seems to enjoy eating pretty much anything. After waiting for the master of the room to be out, Beato and Kumasawa entered the study. Then, they quickly cleaned up the books on the desk, set down the basket they had brought there, and opened it up. Inside were several cute cookies cut out in a butterfly shape. Adorable. Ew, mackerel cookies. They set out a pretty plate and neatly arranged the cookies on it. It was a kind of subtle, conscientious touch that the recipient wasn't likely to even notice. Well, let me say this again. Let me quickly sit down about there and open it. I think this idea was floated around on Saturday. I need to do a big, I need to do a bonus stream, bonus Umineko stream. You know, we do the Umineko fighting game. I need to do a cooking or baking stream, and I need to bake baked, what's her fucking name? Maria baked apples. I need to make butterfly cookies. And Umineko baking. Anytime there's been food referenced. I just need to find all the different things. Should have been keeping notes. The whole arrangement was filled with that sort of feeling. I see you spare no efforts for the sake of your beloved father. This is the most I'm allowed to do right now. You know what? I'll actually say this. Episode 6 has me so fucking confused. There are so many different things happening here in episode 6. I'm not saying it's necessarily a bad thing, but I just don't know how to make, and maybe this is probably intentional, heads or tails of all these different things. We have this very bizarre, I don't think I've really nailed down into words, this very bizarre double Beatrice thing happening on some layer. There's the person who we don't know who it is, trapped in the rooms and can't get out in the closed room thing. We have the Angie situation. We have, then we have in the game board situation, we have Erica picking fights with Maria. Yeah, am I just to assume that this is all weirdness happening stemming from potentially Battler being the GM here? Gee, I mean, Jesus Christ, Battler, get it together. This is the most I'm allowed to do right now. To think that I would give Battler cookies. Why should I, the ruler of the night, do so much for the guest who comes so rarely? Whoa. Then, the study door swung violently open. It was Battler. Oh shit. Hey! This was me! It was Battler with Genji by his side. I get to dress up as Battler once, and then anytime he's back on screen, I get to say that it was me here. Me. It was Battler with Genji by his side. Battler's eyes went wide for a second when he saw Byato there, but his expression quickly went blank again. What are you doing here? Father, please excuse me. Might as well. We're on, like, I'm airing all my complaints tonight. Might as well just say it. It's also, I get why she's saying it. But Beatrice continuing to call him father, I don't know if that necessarily sits with me. Like, that's also, like, on a couple reasons weird. But I mean, I just don't know if I can get past the weirdness. Like, I understand why she's doing it, but understanding and being 100% comfortable with something are not the same thing. So, whatever. Father, please excuse me. I didn't come here to get in the way of your important game. How were you able to get in here? Wasn't this room locked? My apologies. They wanted to surprise you with a gift, so I lent them a key. See, have a look. Beatrice-sama baked these cookies with all her soul, hoping that you would enjoy them. Chapter 6 is like an answer sheet after the final exam from last episode. Fair. Fair. Kumasawa-san and Genji-san taught me how. I never knew Genji-san was so good at baking cookies.
最近は全然ですけど、昔の源氏さんはそれはもういろいろなお料理を作ってくれたんですよ。
He hasn't done it much of late, but long ago Genji-san cooked all sorts of things.
特にお菓子作りはお上手で。
He was especially good with sweets.
クッキー
Cookies?
はい。
Yes.
お父様への差し入れです。
It's a gift for you, father. Oh, he's gonna like slap the cookies away. He's gonna like, I don't want the cookies.
大切なゲームの必勝を心よりお祈りいたしております。
I sincerely pray for your victory in this important match. Bauer looked at the plate on the study desk that was piled up with beautiful cookies and the message card of encouragement lying next to it. And his face twisted with a complex expression, which might have been one of sadness and might have been one of hatred. Master. Genji urged him to consider saying some words of gratitude to Byato. Battler understood. Anyone would be pleased to receive an act of kindness like this. Even though he understood it logically, he couldn't help but give a small exasperated sigh. Thank you. I'm very grateful. However, I don't like sweets. Please take it away. Rude ass. Rude ass. Master. Don't make me say the same thing again. Clean it up and take it away.
親方様、せめて一口お口に運ばれるわけには参りませんか？
Master, couldn't you just try one bite?
ベアトリーチェ様が親方様のためを思いこしらえたものでございます。
Beatrice-sama worked hard to make them for your sake.
気持ちはありがたく受け取っておく。
I appreciate the sentiment.
今は大切なゲームの最中だ。
I'm in the middle of a vital game right now.
俺にとっても、ベアトにとっても大切な。
This is the final game, and it's vital both for me
最後のゲームなんだ。
and Beato as well.
だから頼む。
So please,
俺の心をかき乱すような真似は慎んでくれ。
don't mess with my heart any more than is necessary.
それはあまりにもひどうございます。
That's just too sad for her.
気持ちは感謝する。大いに結構でございます。
I'm glad that you're grateful for her feelings.
しかし、それをせめて一口お召しになる形ではお示しできませんか？
But can't you show it by taking just one little bite? Yeah, Battler doesn't know that this is episode 6 of 8. Silly Battler.
お父様。
Father? Beato looked at Battler sadly. Oh yeah, that's true. Throw up the sign. He doesn't know. He doesn't know it's episode 6. He's unaware. I should have like a siren that plays and like this thing flash. I did that one with my mouth. That was pretty impressive, right? Beato looked at Battler sadly. Battler hung his head to avoid her gaze. You don't have to answer that. The expression on his face caused Beato more pain than any he had shown her before.
熊沢、それを片付け、下がるように。
Kumasawa, please clean this up and take it away.
親方様。
Master! Kumasawa clung to Battler, but he turned his back to her.
失礼しました。
My apologies. Man, Kumasawa is really upset for Beatrice here. Let's clean this up, Kumasawa-san.
そういうわけには参りません。
I won't allow it.
大切なゲームに少しでも力添えしたいベアトリーチェ様がせめてこのような形でもお力になりたいと頑張られた差し入れでございます。
By making this gift, Beatrice-sama gave it her all to try and support you in the only way she could.
それを一口さえせずに下げろとは女をバカにするにも程がございます。
To tell her to take it away without eating a bite yourself. How can you trifle with a woman so?
熊沢、
Kumasawa,
親方様も男ならば
if you call yourself a man,
女の手作りの差し入れにせめてどうか一口で結構でございますのでお手をつけてくださいまし。
you should at least try a bite when a woman makes you a handmade snack. Facts.
女の気持ちを踏みにじろうというおつもりでしたらこの熊沢
If you truly intend to crush a woman's feelings like this,
殺されたってここは引きませんよ。ええ、引きません。
I, Kumasawa, will not back down even if it kills me. No, I won't. K-
熊沢さ
Kumasawa-san.
ん、もう結構ですから。
You've done enough for me already.
そういうわけには参りません。
I won't allow it.
親方様、これに毒でも入っているとお思いですか？
Master, do you think they're poisoned or something? Yeah. If Beato ever came to give me cookies, of course I'd figure that she'd put some kind of crazy poison in them. And she's asking me if I think there's poison in these? Who would expect that cookies piled up in such a neat and cute way could possibly have something bizarre hidden inside them. And anyway, who could possibly imagine Beato making something like this? Because of that, Battler couldn't bear to look at Beato's innocent reaction, which was completely free from any malicious thoughts like slipping poison into cookies. Damn. Beato quietly started to clean up. Every now and then she sniffled. Kumasawa continued to glare at Battler, but she then gave a small sigh and helped Beato clean up. However, hardness didn't disappear from her expression.
失礼しました。お
My
父様。
My apologies, father.
それでは失礼いたします。
Please excuse me.
呼ぶな。
Don't call me that.
俺をお父様と呼ぶな。
Me and Battle are on the same page here. Don't call me father.
ベアとは俺をそんな呼び方をしたことは
Beato never called me
一度
that.
もない。
はい。
Yes, as you wish.
失礼いたしました。
My apologies. Hanging her head so low that her chin touched her chest, Beato hurried out of the study. After giving Battler a look, Kumasawa chased after her. Kumasawa threw the door open a bit violently, and the footsteps of the pair rapidly disappeared off into the distance. So I think this was asked. I don't think by me, but then I reworded the ask. Can Battler not see Elder Beatrice? Elder Beato? Is Elder Beato only in the perspective of this new Beato? Is that established yet? Have I missed a key thing at some point? Or is it supposed to be nebulous? Because for a second, Elder Beatrice was there, talking to created Beato. But then there was no acknowledgement, at least as far as I know. I think the question before was asked, does Battler know of the existence of Elder Beato? But from that whole thing, that exchange right there, there was no acknowledgement anyway. I mean, I don't know if that was just because there wasn't... I don't think he has reacted to her at all till now. If he knows of her IDK. Alright, I was just curious. Because I think it was asked. I think someone in chat, I'm pretty sure. Last time it was like, does he know of her? And I'm like, I don't think there's been any direct, like, acknowledgement. So I can't... And, you know, with this game, with this story, there's unreliable... This person can see this person exists only to this person is in the head of this person. So I'm kind of just like... I'm not sure. Alright, here we go. Angie.
実の妹が言うのもなんだけど、複雑な気持ちだわ。
I may be his little sister, but I'm not sure how I feel about that.
相手がベアトでさえなければ、素直に女の敵と言えるのに。か?
If she were anyone other than Beato, you'd think of him as a true enemy of women. Is that it?
私はお兄ちゃんとベアトがどうして慣れ合ってるのかさっぱりわからない。
I don't have a clue why Oni-chan and Beato act so friendly together.
今思ってベアトは倒すべき私たちの最大の敵だと思ってる。
Right now, I think of Beato as our greatest enemy, the one we must defeat.
でもだからといって
Still, even so,
あのお兄ちゃんの対応は女として愉快じゃないわ。
as a woman, I can't say I like how Oni-chan's treating her.
バトラの気持ちも少しはわかるがな。
And yet, I can understand Battler's feelings a little too.
悲しいことだ。
What a sad state of affairs. I still don't understand what kind of antagonism or connection there was between them. However, Oni-chan probably viewed Beato as a friendly rival, if not something more. Oni-chan's reason for defeating Byato isn't to destroy an enemy out of hatred. Feels like he wants to give a sincere answer to her questions. Yes, can't deny the fact that their fight isn't based on hatred, but on a stronger emotion.
さらに言えば
Love, perhaps? And on top of that,
あそこまで冷たくされて、それでもなおお兄ちゃんに尽くそうとするベアトも大したもんだわ。
Byato really is something to remain dedicated to Oni-chan all the more, even after being treated so coldly.
もう一人の姉のベアトと私も同意見よ。
I agree with the other older sister Beatrice.
どうしてお兄ちゃんにあ
The
そ
one
こ
who
ま
may
で
or
尽
may
くすの
not
か
truly
理解できない
exist.
わ。
I can't understand why she's so dedicated to Oni-chan.
そしてその理解できぬ要素は1000年を経て変化を遂げるとはいえ、
And though it'll only happen after changing over 1,000 years,
紛れもなく我々の知る黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェに受け継がれるものである。
that single factor that you don't understand will certainly be inherited by the Golden Witch Beatrice we know so well.
ええ、
Yeah,
理解しているわ。
I understand that.
このベアトを知ることもまたやがてのベアトを知ることにつながる。
Learning about this Beato will eventually teach us something about that Beato.
そしてそれはこのおかしなゲームで最大の大駒と、あるいはこのゲーム版そのものを説明するかもしれない。
And that may be able to explain the greatest piece in this crazy game, if not the game board itself.
謎多き魔女であるな。
Such a mysterious witch. Though she said those words, Featherine wore a confident smile on her face. Her sarcastic confidence, as though she already knew the answer, was unchanged.
ベアトリーチェ、
Beatrice,
話を聞きたいわ。
I want to ask you something.
はい。何でしょうか、エンジェさん。
Yes, what would you like to know, Angie-san? When Angie asked her question, Beato, who had been reading a fragment book in the shadows of the library, jumped.
あなたはなんで後ろ宮バトラーをお父様と呼ぶの？
Why do you call Ishiromiya Battler father?
私という駒を生み出してくださったからです。
Because he created the piece that I am.
では、どうして後ろ宮バトラーにそこまで尽くすの？
In that case, why are you so dedicated to Ishiromiya Battler?
駒は生み出した造物種に絶対服従しなくてはならないルールでもあるの？
Is there some rule that pieces must obey the creator that makes them?
そんなルールはない。
There is no such rule.
駒は道具、あるいはナイフだ。
A piece is like a tool, or perhaps a knife.
ゲームマスターが上手に扱えば便利な道具になる。
When used skillfully by the game master, they can be quite useful.
しかし扱いを間違えれば自らを傷つけもする。
However, if you use them incorrectly, they can hurt you as well.
道具になろうと凶器になろうと、そこに道具の意志はない。
Whether a tool is used as a tool or a weapon, that has nothing to do with the tool's own will.
ただ結果があるだけだ。
It is merely the result.
じゃあ、どうしてあんたはお兄ちゃんにアームを尽くすの？
In that case, why are you so dedicated to Oni-chan?
まるでそれはあなたという駒の目的かのようだわ。
It's almost as though that's your goal as a piece.
はい、
Yes,
それが私が生み出された目的だからです。
that is the goal that gave me. That is the goal that gave birth to me.
あんたを生み出したお兄ちゃん自身がその目的を与えたの？
Did Oni-chan, the one who gave birth to you, give you that goal?
それは違う。
That's not it.
バトラはゲームマスターとしてそういう役目を持った駒を盤上に置いたに過ぎない。
As the game master, Battler merely set a piece with that role on the board.
そして彼女という駒を生み出したのは
Also, the one who gave birth to this piece
このゲームを生み出した最初のゲームマスターであるベアトリーチェ自身だ。
was the first game master and the one who created this game, Beatrice herself.
ややこしい話だわ。
This is getting confusing. You're telling me, Angie.
つまりあんたはお兄ちゃんのことをお父様お父様呼んでるけど、 別に父親ってわけじゃないのね。
In other words, you keep calling Oni-chan father, but he's not actually your father?
あんたはお兄ちゃんに尽くさなければならないという目的のために
You're just calling him that affectionately.
親しみを込めてお父様と呼んでるだけだわ。
Because you feel obligated to devote yourself to him.
はい、
Yes.
そうだと思います。
I think that's true.
私という駒を盤上に置いてくださったのがお父様です。
Father was the one who placed me on the game board.
お父様が盤上に置かなければ、私という駒の出番はありません。
If he hadn't, my piece would never have had a turn.
ですから、私がここにこうして存在し、そして私の目的のために尽くせるのは、すべてお父様のおかげなのです。
So, the fact I exist here right now and I'm able to devote myself to my goal is all thanks to Father.
なるほど。
I see.
そしてそれはお父様と呼ぶのにふさわしいってわけね。
So that's why it makes sense for you to call him Father.
じゃあ誰があんたにお兄ちゃんに尽くすように命じたの？
In that case, who told you to devote yourself to Oni-chan?
ああ、それは初代ゲームマスターのベアト自身よね。
Ah, that must have been the first game master, Beato herself.
ああ、ややこしい。
Ah, so confusing.
なぜにそなたは後ろ宮バトラに尽くさねばならぬのかと尋ねたいのであろう。
You wish to ask her why she must devote herself to Ishimiya Battler, correct?
しかしそれを彼女に答えることはできぬ。
However, she cannot give you that answer.
彼女に与えられたのは目的だけだ。
She was given nothing but the goal itself.
その目的を与えた動機は与えた本人にしかわからぬのだから。
Only the person who gave her that goal knows the reasons for which they did so.
なるほど。
I see.
それも考えてみるがいい人の子よってわけね。
Consider that as well, Chata man, right?
で、ついでにあんたにはもうその察しがついていて、ニヤニヤしながら私が悩んでいるのを見ているってわけだわ。
So, that means you already have an idea, and you're laughing at my confusion.
そなたは我が巫女としてつくづく優秀だ。
You really are just perfect for my Miko.
私はお父様に尽くします。
I will do anything for Father.
私の存在がお父様の幸福のお役に立てる。
My existence will bring Father happiness. That's an ironic statement. He didn't seem too happy about your cookies now, did he? Huh? Huh?
それが私の一番の喜びです。
That is my greatest pleasure.
そして
And at that point, Beato hesitated.
何？
And?
そして何を？
And what?
はい。
Yes.
そして
And?
それをいつかお父様にお認めいただければ。
If I could one day have Father acknowledge my efforts,
それが私の一番の幸せなのです。
it would be my greatest joy. Acknowledge me. Sad.
何よそれ。
Featherine can't help but just scoff. What the hell?
尽くしたいってだけならまさに魔女の家具ねと言いたいところだけど。
If you only wanted to devote yourself to him, I'd say you're just another furniture of the witch.
それを認めてもらいたい？
But you want him to acknowledge your efforts?
それじゃ家具ってより。
That's less like furniture and more like... And you stop mid-sentence. That's less like furniture and more like... You're just a girl. You're just a girl who loves Oni-chan. I don't get it. The driving force behind this Beato is that of a girl who adores Oni-chan. But then, what does that make her? What does that make her? If the first Beato liked Oni-chan, then she could have adored him and devoted herself to him directly. Why would she create a piece of herself, a separate entity, to do it? As it stands, even if she does attract Oni-chan's attention, it'll be towards the piece version of herself, not the creator who made that piece. If I ever like someone, I'll probably want to do things for them. But of course, I'd want to do things myself. Do those things myself. After all, I'd want him to notice me. It's a love that'll always go unrewarded, no matter how devoted she is. And she's doing this out of her own free will. Byaoto's actions look no different from those of an average girl in love. She's devotedly doing all she can for him, dreaming that her kindness will eventually be acknowledged. Why would Byaoto create a piece like this? Maybe putting in romantic terms is a bit too confusing. Let's try using food as an example. This is a hell of a back-to-back sentences right here. I really like this. This is very good. All right, yeah, let's try using food. All right. This would be as pointless as creating a piece to eat food for you. No matter how much food your piece eats on your behalf, you won't get any less hungry, right? You're the one who wants to eat. There's no reason to have a piece do that in your place. For most jobs in this world, you can get someone else to do it for you. However, with love and food alone, there can never be any point to letting another person do it in your place. I'm sure I could brainstorm other things that go along with love and food that would have no reason to have someone else do it for you, but sure. I mean, it's so definitive. This sentence right here is so definitive. Only with food, love and food alone. That's right. This Byaoto is created as a piece because of an impossible reason. Though at a glance, she looks just like a normal girl, the more I know about her, the less I understand. Like she's an imaginary number.
お父様はそう呼ばれるのを嫌われていました。
There's got to be a mathematics joke in there somewhere about imaginary numbers. That's what it said, right? Imaginary number, yeah. I'm too tired to come up with one, but father hates it when I call him father.
そしてお父様の望まれる私もそうは呼んでいませんでした。
And the me that father desires didn't call him by that name either.
そうね。
Right.
かつてのあんたは誰が相手でも呼び捨てにしてたわ。
The former you spoke to everyone without even using honorifics.
だからといってお父様を呼び捨てにはできません。
However, simply possessing that knowledge doesn't mean I can refer to father quite that informally.
せめてバトラさんと呼ぶように努力はしたいと思います。
I like to give it my all and start by calling him Battler-san.
あんなに
She's
冷たくされ
trying.
てよくめげないものね。
I'm surprised you haven't gotten discouraged after being treated so coldly.
おと
Father?
いえ
No.
バトラさんは今大切なゲームに臨まれています。
Battler-san is in the middle of an important game right now.
相手は大ベルンカステル教の駒強敵エリカ教です。
His opponent is the formidable Lady Erica, piece of the great Lady Bernkastel.
いよいよゲームが佳境に差し掛かろうというデリケートなところに私がしゃしゃり出て
It's no surprise that he was in a bad mood when I stepped in at a delicate moment in his game.
バトラさんが望まないお父様という言葉をかけてしまったのですから
Just as it was starting to reach a critical point,
機嫌を崩されても無理ないことです。
and called him by the name he doesn't want to hear. Apparently, Byaoto still wanted to devote herself to Battler, even after being treated in such a cold manner. Though to an outsider, it might just look as though she's being snubbed, doesn't face her at all. Truly is a blindness of a girl in love.
それとも私に愛がないから見えない。
Or is it that I can't see because I have no love?
愛があれば見えぬものが見えることもあろうな。
At times, love does let you see the unseeable. Byaoto once again immersed herself in the fragment book that the former Byaoto had written. She was trying to find something about the Byaoto that Battler desired. Angie shrugged as though saying, well, I don't get it. Featherine laughed when she saw this, hinting that an innocent young woman could never understand. Angie grumbled something back unhappily. Their exchange seemed to have had no effect whatsoever on Beato, as she sat in the shadows of the library. Just adding random names. After chasing all the others out, only Battler remained in the study. There was no color in this dimly lit room. However, for just a short time that the plate of cookies had been placed there, the room had seemed at least a little cheery. Battler's gaze drifted over to the table, which no longer had anything on it. When he did, the cookie plate that had been there until a second ago was revived. Cookie magic? His gaze drifted over, which no longer... What? However, it was an illusion. Ah. Oh, okay. Though the cookies could be looked at, they could not be touched, much less eaten. If Battler wished, he could make it possible to touch them or eat them, but it would be an empty sensation. It would only give the touch and taste that Battler desired. He no longer had any way of knowing what kind of cookies they had been. On the reception sofa across from Battler, a cloud of gold butterflies slowly gathered and took the form of the old Beato.
ほーら食べろよ。わらわが珍しく手作りしたのだぞ。
Come on, have a bite. It's not every day that I make these by hand.
安心せよ。自信作であるぞ。
Have no fear. I'm confident in how they've turned out.
お嬢様の場合、むしろ自信作の方が不安になろうというものですな。
Hearing that from the lady makes them all the more dubious.
まったくだぜ。
Seriously.
お前が作るクッキーなんて、どうせおかしな毒が入ってるに決まってる。
Any cookies you made would obviously have some kind of strange poison in them.
それは心外な。
How shocking that you would think, that you should think so.
仮に入っていたとしても、そなたのあれがそうなって、こうなっちゃうかもしれない程度のもんではないか。
Even if I did put something in, it'd be no worse than the kind that does this and that to your other thing. Wait, what? What is... Sorry, say that again, Beatrice? Even if I did put something in, it'd be no worse than the kind that does this and that to your other thing.
そういうことばかり普段からしているから、バトラ君に食べてもらえないのです。
If you do that sort of thing all the time, Battler can never agree to eat them.
手料理に何か入れるなんて基本でしょ？
Huh? Putting things in someone's food is pretty basic, isn't it?
爪に髪の毛、魔法のおまじないに愛のかけら。
Fingernails, bits of hair, magic charms, fragments of love.
あんたたちだったら何を入れるの？
What would you people put in? Yes, ma'am.
何も入れません。美味しく自分でいただいちゃいます。
I wouldn't put anything in them. I'd just eat them all myself.
だと思ったわ。あんたは出落ちなのよ、まったく。
Obviously. Do you have to be so predictable?
でも女は3つの袋をつかめって言うし、胃袋は最初の第一歩よね。
Well, they say a girl's gotta grab by all 3 sacks. The first one's the stomach, right?
次がお財布の袋で、3つ目は何かしら？
Next comes the wallet. And what was the third one again? Sex. Why is Battler just having like a moment? Is he just like I think Battler's going insane. I think he's
男を振り向かせるなら、身も心も魂さえも全てを私のために捧げさせたい。
If I could catch a guy's attention, I'd want to make him sacrifice his body, heart, and soul to me.
だからこそ、私は手料理に全ての力と愛情を注ぎ込めるの。
That's why I pour all my power and affection into my cooking.
いずれにせよ手料理を食べさせるのは古今不変の成功法と言えるだろうな。
I assume part of what comes with being the game master is you slowly just drive yourself insane. I think that's like the penalty. If you want to be the game master, you have to endure slowly losing everything about you and losing your wits, your sanity. It all just disappears. In any event, making someone eat your food is probably a frontal attack that's gone unchanged throughout the ages. Lambda was immune. I was literally thinking the same thing. I was like, yeah, she can't get any worse. She's already on the other side of the scale there. Frontal attack's gone unchanged throughout the ages.
バカバカしい。
Ridiculous.
そんな小細工をしないと男心一つつかめないなんて情けないったらありゃしないわ。
How pathetic to think that you couldn't grasp a single man's heart without relying on such simple tricks.
へえ。
Oh?
お姉様が男心をどの程度おつかみになった経験がおありか聞いてみたいものですけど。
Are you saying you've succeeded in grasping a man's heart, Oni-sama?
バートラー、何もおかしなもんは入ってないから食ってくれよ。
Battler, there's nothing weird in it, so have a bite.
わらわがそなたのためにクッキーを手作りするなんて二度とねえからさ。
Don't think you'll ever get a chance to eat my homemade cookies again. There probably won't be another chance. I slowly stretched my hand out to the illusion of the cookie plate and touched it. Touch. Just before I did, it became a cloud of gold butterflies and vanished into the darkness of the study. The illusions of Renova and Virgilia also disappeared. However, the illusion of Beato alone still remained on the sofa.
何が不満か?
Is there something not to your liking?
それも俺に言わせるつもりか?
Are you trying to force me to say it out loud?
新しきわらわがそなたの望んだ姿とあまりに違えば違うほど。
The more the new me differs from the form you wished for,
わらわが二度と蘇らぬ存在であることを思い知らされるから。
the more you're reminded that I can never be revived again.
であろう。
Correct. There's such a long pause there. I was thinking about some. Should I say it? I was thinking of a theory thing, but it's so like underbaked. I don't know if now's the right time to bring it out. But also, I gotta say, like, any theories I have at this point, if they don't come out now, when are they gonna come out? You know, when the game's over. I'm thinking about how to word it because it's not, like I said, it's not fully formed. But it goes back to this whole, it goes back to what we've seen now of Battler as this game master here since this episode. And his personality and how he's kind of acting. And then also, like, it goes back to the whole, like, oh, Battler is his own grandfather, like, joke we made, like, episodes ago. Parts ago. Streams ago. I'm gonna, again, this is a half-baked theory. I don't know how I necessarily should word it or how I actually feel about this, but I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm gonna fucking scream if this ends up just being, like, the story of Umineko from episodes 1 to 8 are somehow, like, at the end of 8, we learn that it's, like, one big cyclical thing. Like it's like an Ouroboros, the story is just ever like a cyclical story. Like it's somehow we get to the episode end of 8, and then like the concluding events of it show that this was all just one like giant like, I don't know how to describe it. This is the problem. When I get a theory, I don't necessarily have a good way of explaining what I'm trying to say, but like, I don't know. That's all I can come up with words wise. Like something along the lines of like the timeline essentially, I don't want to say necessarily resets itself, but let's see what you're saying. Battler becomes new Kinzo kinda, new Beatrice becomes old Beatrice. Yeah, in like a way, yeah. I mean, that might be simplifying. Well, no, that might be somewhat putting into words. I'm just saying, like, it seems like we're not far off from something like that potentially being a thing. Now, do I give Umineko a bit more credit and think that that's not necessarily where this is gonna go? Like, that seems almost too simplistic. So maybe I want to give it a bit more credit than that. I want to give Umineko a bit more credit than that. And I don't mean I'm gonna be pissed if that was what ended up happening when I say that I would scream, but more just like it's almost the I don't even want to say obvious thing, but the thing that was kind of in front of us the whole time is that it ends up just being like a thing. You know? I don't know. Like I said, you wanted it out of me. It was half-baked. Just the thoughts. The more the new... Let me see, where was I? Laugh. The more the new me differs from the form you wished for, the more you're reminded that I can never be revived again, correct? If you let a good woman get away, you never get a second chance. So, only now you finally realized what a good woman I was. God, such true words from Beatrice right here. Shut up. If you never appear again, that'd be a relief. Beato lay sprawled on the sofa and looked up at the ceiling. Battler also turned his back and moved to the window. For a while, there was silence. I imagine you understand, but... I do understand. The me you were expecting has already disappeared. I know.
紛れもないお前自身ではあっても、かつてのお前とは異なる存在で。
Even though that Beato is you without a doubt, she's a different being than the old you.
お前はもう絶対に蘇らない。
And I can say with certainty that you'll never revive again.
わらわの魂とこの女らしさ、性格の良さ、気風の良さは魔女としての1000年によって培われたものだ。
My soul, femininity, sparkling personality, and splendid character were cultivated over 1,000 years spent as a witch.
それは全く同じ1000年を経ぬ限り、わらわと同じにはなり得ぬ。
Unless an exactly identical 1,000 years is traversed, nothing can become me.
すなわち、そなたがわらわを生み出そうと目論む時点で、すでに生い立ちが異なるのだ。
And so, at the moment you decided to create me, my personal history was different.
ああ。
Yeah.
お前が絶対に蘇らないなんて。あの昭和のベルンカステルにバッチリ保証されてるぜ。
That damn burnt cell is already guaranteed that you'll never revive.
だが期待しているのであろう。
However, you still hope for it, don't you?
新しきわらわがある非豆腐の角にでもコツンと頭をぶつけ、過去の記憶を取り戻して見事復活。
One day, the new me will trip and land on her head, and all our memories of the past will be restored.
みたいなのを期待しているのであろう。
You were hoping for something like that, weren't you?
そんな妄想プロット、今時ラノベだって通用せぬわ。
A delusional plot like that wouldn't even pass in a light novel these days.
うるせえ。
Shut up.
お前だってかつて
In the past, you also...
俺が思い出して
You waited and waited.
気づくのをずっと
For me to remember.
待ってやがったじゃねえかよ。
And take notice. Then, what is it? Does this mean that our relationship is exactly the opposite of how it once was?
わらわもそなたがいつかはきっと気づく。思い出す。奇跡が起こる。
Well, at times, I did continue the game believing that you would eventually notice and remember,
そう信じてゲームを繰り返したこともあったがな。
that a miracle would occur.
どういう気持ちだったんだよ。
How did it feel?
お前が俺とゲームをしている時は。
How did it feel when you were playing with me?
自分の胸に聞けとはよく言ったものよ。
As I say, look inside your own heart. It hurts. If only she didn't look so much like you, it would have kept my cool a little better.
まあ好きにせよ。
Well, do as you wish.
かつてわらわはそなたを苛みもてあそんだ。
In the past, I toyed with you and tormented you.
今度はそなたがそれをわらわに復讐する番だ。
Now's your chance for revenge against me.
新しきわらわは何もわからずおろおろとするのみ。
The new me will just wander about nervously, ignorant of everything.
見るも焼くもそなた次第よ。
You may boil or burn her as you see fit.
積年の恨みも晴れるであろうが。
Perhaps doing so will ease your old hatred.
お前自身が相手なら
I would if it was you.
な。さぞや気分も爽快だろうぜ。
It'd probably make me feel a lot better.
だが
But
あのベアとは
that Beato
お前じゃない。
isn't you.
わらわでないというなら誰なのか。
If it isn't me, who is it?
お前によく似た。
It's someone very much like you,
別人だ。
but not you.
だが紛れもなくわらわでもあるぞ。
But even so, she most certainly is me.
そうだな。
True.
お前自身であり、
She is you.
そして同時に
And at the same time,
別人なんだ。
she's a different person. A real ship of Theseus type situation right here. It might be the same Beatrice, but different pieces built it.
ならば新しきわらわも災難なものよ。
In that case, the new me really has it rough. Wait, is my thing a 999 reference? I wasn't even necessarily trying to talk about 999, but I guess that's, yeah. I was genuinely just talking about Ship of Theseus, but also, I guess now that you say that, I am reminded of how that was used in 999. I was mostly just trying to make a lame reference to it being Ship of Theseus type moment. But it's all the same. You know what? Yes, it was a 999 reference. I'll just say it. I'll change what it was. The idea. In that case, the new me really has it rough. She's being treated like a plaything in my place. How truly pitiable. That might be the contradiction inside me. The new Beato seems like a different person, so I can't accept her. Even though I know she's a different person, she keeps reminding me of Beato's face. In that case, why not think of her as my daughter? Oh boy. Your daughter? She does share my blood, so consider her a daughter that closer resembles me. Yeah, let's just add another layer of confusion to this whole how is he supposed to feel about this person he created type thing. After all, she is my double, but hasn't lived 1,000 years, so calling her that is not incongruous. True. Imagine that I've died, left behind a daughter, and entrusted her to you. I mean, initial maybe weirdness aside, it is probably the simplest answer. It solves a thing that she's so like, looks just like her, kinda. Doesn't have the same personality, seems a lot more innocent, calls him father all the time. It does in theory solve a lot of immediate problems. I'm not gonna fault this spirit of Beatrice as like a, you know, that solving things. Left behind a daughter and trust her to you. Won't it become a little easier to deal with her that way? Exactly. It creates some other problems. We gotta... Which issues do we want to solve, and which issues do we want to introduce? That's basically what we have to ask ourselves, and that's what Battler has to ask himself. That's actually a good analogy. It's unlike you. Do not jest. That is my daughter. That is my daughter. She is the child I left behind after my death. You are free to press my likeness upon her. You may also let loose your pent-up resentment on her in my place. Making her bear my sins and torturing her as you please may calm your grudge. If that doesn't match your tastes, you can also guide her down the right path so that she does not end up on the inhumane road that I've tread. She was made to devote herself to you since the moment of her birth. If you wish, you can mold her into any shape you desire. See, but again, this gets to the weirdness because I'm pretty sure this Beatrice is just inside his head. Like, I think it was pretty well established that this was just a weird illusion vision in his brain. So, like, this is, from what I see, this is just Battler rationalizing it to himself. He's like, oh, I have come up with a solution. If you wish, you can mold her into any shape, and that's the again. We're just so many layers of weird. We're just so many layers of weird deep in this, where we're just like, I don't know. I don't know. If you wish, you can mold her. Okay, I just keep reading that line over and over again. After 1,000 years of miracles, she might even become me.
かつてお前にされたように、ひんむいて鎖で引っ張り回すことさえ自由だな。
What the hell is this line? So, I could even strip her naked and drag her around with a chain, like you did to me once? I guess that did happen. Oh, that was such simpler times back then, you know? Simpler times when we saw just ass-naked fucking battler. CG. By chain. And I thought at that moment we had seen the weirdest thing in this game, you know? Cackle, cackle. So naive. Yes, at this point, even greater humiliation would be possible. So. So. She is your double. And your daughter? Yes, she's exactly the same person, the same piece, which was created once more by the rule called Beatrice. However, when I'm unable to accept it that way, I can think of her as Beato's daughter, finding a clear guidepost to how to interact with her and smooth the uncertainty of my heart. Finally, I understand how cruel I was to her then. My tears poured to the ground. When I followed them with my eyes, I noticed that a white business card had fallen onto the floor. It was the message card that had adorned those cookies. I rushed her, telling her to clean up and leave right away, which was probably why it had fallen to the floor unnoticed. I picked it up and read the message on it. It was extremely short, pure, and sincere. It's so clear that I should be able to read it. However, it's blurred with tears, and I can't see anything. Oh no! I'm crying! My screen, my monitor, I can't see it. It's getting digitized. Sorry, I'm not trying to take away the moment. The flood of light and sound slowly dissipated. The silence that followed was not interrupted even by the sound of the wind and rain outside that had once been present. Both Jessica and George timidly opened their eyes. They're sent here from the blinding light? Where in the world is this? It was a strange room they had never seen before. Looked like a Western-style smoking room. Its furnishings were stylish and expensive. Felt like the room of some dignified person. There was a set of black tea on the table, as well as a chessboard, which seemed to be halfway through a game. However, there was something strangely out of place. The black and white checkerboard pattern made it feel like chess, but but it looked like a very similar yet totally different game that no one knew of. And similar to how it both looked like chess and not like chess, the furnishings of this room, no, the room itself, though it seemed like a Western smoking room, it also felt like something completely different. Just where is this place?
ジェシカちゃんにカノン君も
Jessica Chan and Cannon Kun.
シャノン
And Shannon?
シャノンはどこに
Where's Shannon?
ジョージ様私はここにおります
I'm right here, George-sama.
僕もここにいます。
And I'm here.
お嬢様、ジョージ様。
Milady, George-sama. I don't think this is actually going to happen, but I really hope they have to, like, duel for the magic of the brooch. I don't know, like, tag team fight or something. I don't know. The winner gets to use the magic of the brooch and gets to keep the relationship. Loser, unfortunate, you get sent to the Shadow Realm by Gap or something. I don't know.
このような場所にお連れしたことをお詫びいたします。
We apologize for bringing you to a place like this.
一体何がどうなってるんだい
What on earth is going on? Exactly. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Exactly.
シャノンが取り出した蝶の羽のようなものが眩しく光り出したと思ったら
Just when Shannon took out something that looked like a butterfly wing and it started shining.
私もだぜ
The same thing happened to me.
カノン君が黄金蝶のブローチとかいうのを取り出したらそれが輝き出して
Cannon-kun took out this golden butterfly brooch thing. It started to sparkle and...
お嬢様ジョージさんまずはご無礼をお許しください
Lady, George-san, first off, please allow us to apologize.
そしてどうか落ち着いてください
And please stay calm.
これから不思議なことが起こります
Something strange is about to happen. I'm telling you, they're gonna fight. They gotta fight. Please! Ooh, I've never wished or willed much else as strongly as this in my series, my playthrough of Umineko here. I want it to be the case for some bizarre ass reason. We're having this touching moment with Battler, talking about the new Beato and everything, and then we just switch to this, where it's like, guys, there's only one brooch between the four of us, the two couples, and to see who gets it, George and Jessica have to fight. I just for some reason really badly want that to happen. Yeah, I should. I really should. I should have bought the game, and then I can just set, like, I don't know, set AI fighters or something, and then just have them fight each other. And whoever wins, that's the canon, like, not canon the character, but canon happening of this. And that is my alternate universe.
その不思議な存在は私たちを試すでしょう
That strange thing will probably test us.
試す
Test us?
それがひょっとして
Do you mean
さっき君が言っていた
that trial you were just talking about?
僕たちが結ばれるために乗り越えなくてはならない試練
That we had to overcome if we wanted to be together?
というやつなのかい
Is that it?
試練
A trial?
お嬢様にはまだ説明していませんでした。
I haven't explained it to you yet, milady.
お詫びします。
My apologies. Also, if it's George and Shannon versus Jessica and Cannon, God, my money would be so much on Jessica versus Jessica and Cannon. No offense to George and Shannon, but Jessica definitely has that scrappy mentality, like that scrappy fighter mentality kind of thing going. And Cannon's got that I'm quiet but like scary deadly, you know, like vibe going. Like their vibes in like a 2-on-2 battle thing, their vibes I think just match up way better than like Shannon and George fighting. No matter how well he is at maybe like kicking and stuff, I don't rate George very highly. I haven't explained it to you yet, milady. My apologies.
しかしどうか
But please.
先ほどのお嬢様の言葉が本当ならどうか力を貸してください
If your words just a second ago were the truth, please lend me your strength. Also, where is Golden Fantasia at the Evo stage? I want to see top tier Golden Fantasia Umineko fighting professional stage.
僕も精一杯頑張りますからどうか
I'll give it everything I've got, so please. Yeah, I'm curious if there's like any like pro scene for fighting for the fighting game. I don't understand a thing that's been happening.
ジョージ兄さんは何か知ってるの
Do you know something, George Nissan?
一応はね
A bit.
今の状況を君同様に驚いてはいる
I'm just as surprised as you are by what's happening now.
しかしこれが避けられぬ試練で僕たちに不可欠だというならば僕は何が訪れようとも受けて立つつもりだよ
However, if they're saying that this is an unavoidable trial and that we're essentially for it, I intend to take on whatever may come.
試練
A trial?
カノン君
Cannon-kun?
ブローチを
The brooch? Yeah. The two of them brought the halves of the broken golden butterfly brooch closer to each other. As they grew closer, the strength of the bright yellow radiance increased.
ジェシカちゃんもどうか心の準備をしてほしい
Jessica-chan, I want you to prepare your heart as well.
僕にはすでにその準備がある
I am already prepared.
どういうことだよ
What do you mean?
私にはさっぱりだぜ
I don't have a clue.
一体何が起こってるんだ
What the hell is going on?
試練だよ
It's a trial. Let me see this. For those who don't know, the learn fighting game place. This was in 2019. For those, okay, so paragraph pasted here. For those who don't know, EVO is a learner's fighting game tournament series in terms of number of people join, yes, and always takes place in Las Vegas. EVO has 7 to 9 main games. Anime EVO hosts over 20 side games that also get a lot of entrants. This is the first year Umineko Golden Fantasia will be playable at Anime EVO since it was released by Manga Gamer late 2017. That was in 2019. Alright, so it was on like it's getting like obviously side. I'm not surprised it's like on side, like a little side thing, you know. It's a trial.
愛し合う二人のための試練
A test for a pair of those who love each other. Ooh, a love test. Oh, dude, this would be cool if they're like getting all intense about this and not a fighting. They just have to take like a compatibility quiz, like you would see in a magazine or something. They just have to sit down and like someone administers like a compatibility like quiz, and it's like they have to ask each other like 10 questions and then see how they get like a percentage compatibility thing, and they have to pass with like 80% or higher. George spoke these awkward-seeming words quickly and easily. It was such an embarrassing line that Jessica couldn't help turning red. But the expression on George's face, which was so serious that it was almost grim, forced her to tense up as well. Shannon and Cannon were just as serious. With a glow in their eyes as though they were taking part in a sacred duel, the pair then brought the two golden butterfly wings together. Then, the wings they held became a single brooch and regained their magical power. An even more intense light filled the room, and the scene was burnt into the retinas of all present. As the brooch shattered, and two shining things flew out of it. What two things?
人は愛のために生きるのです。
Huh? People live for the sake of love.
そう、愛こそは世界なり。
Yes, this world is love itself. Wait a second. Is this voice in the way of talking, the mannerisms of talking, is this? I don't have the best of memory. I don't have the best of memory, but this is oh, how great is the power of love. Is this the two that we got introduced randomly at the beginning of this episode? Oh, love is everything there is. Suddenly, the voices of two people they had never heard before rang out. What was it? Who were they? Ah. Yeah, crowd goes wild. George and Jessica nervously opened their eyes. When they did, they saw that two demons had appeared there, almost as though the two halves of the brooch had become them. Oh, this is okay. Okay, wait. There's now big implications. If the beginning of this episode where it was Erica in the wedding dress, and that was like, if we were to assume that was like a cold open or something to the episode, and if it's like the previous episode, it was a pre-thing that's going to show up later on in this episode, and then they're revealed as the embodiment of this brooch thing, and they were there, and Erica was in a dress, a wedding gown dress thing. My mind is just going everywhere. What the fuck is happening? Do we have it? We don't have character entries on them yet, do we? Damn. Okay. Hey, that's weird. Fur. What are we doing in a place like this? It really is strange. Zepar? There's no one but humans and furniture here. Where's the witch? Where's the witch capable of summoning us? Yes, we remember the name of the witch of the contract really well, don't we? Let's try calling it out. Fur. Dumb names. Just dumb names. Alright, yes, you're right, Zepar. We know the name of the witch of the contract, the Golden Witch. Then let's try calling her. Demon names? No excuse. I like Renove and Gap better. I mean, they're equally kind of dumb, but... Beatrice! Considering their exaggerated theatrical manner and their slightly comical style of talking, it'd probably be hard to comprehend their great power at this point. Great. When the two demons called Beatrice's name, a cyclone of gold butterflies picked up throughout the room, then took the form of two golden witches. Oh, there are two Beatrices? Well, there are two of us as well. Why shouldn't there be two Beatrices every now and then? This is my double and my little sister. We two are the same and as a single person. Pleased to meet you. It has been a long time, Beatrice-sama. Am I dreaming? I feel the same. Still, it's too early to get dumbfounded. Unlike Jessica, George had maintained his composure even during this bizarre scene. After all, Shannon already told me what would happen next. Demons of the contract, it has been too long. Zepar. And you too, Fur. I thought it was gonna do two of the noises. Oh, look at that. Wait, they got a... Oh, they got a... Look at that! They got the same little portrait little picture here. That's kind of cute. Look at that. Not important enough to get individual little portrait pictures. Upsetting, I guess. Here we go. Let's go Fur here. One of the 72 great demons controls love and tests others through trials. Furfur bestows endless, inexhaustible, offensive power upon the maker of the contract, giving them enough courage to fiercely overcome any barriers to their love. A trainer of love who teaches tame boys the taste of flesh. Let me read that line again. A trainer, in quotes, of love who teaches tame boys the taste of flesh. Is of a different gender than Zepar. Also, yep, good point. I was gonna say, if it wasn't said in chat, no pants. But at least we love consistency. I know we've made the jokes about like judging, like ranking, tiering the outfits of characters. I'm trying to say, I was the stalking things. I was like, do I like the mismatched one stripes, one not stripes? And that's where I stopped. I started from the bottom and went up, and I just got hung up on the socks, the stockings. Zepar, one of the 72 great demons, controls love and tests others through trials. Zepar bestows an ultimate defensive. Okay, so Zepar, defensive. Barrier of immortality upon the maker of the contract, giving them enough courage to unflinchingly face any wounds love might cause. A hunter of love who likes and preys upon tame boys. I'll read that one as well again. A hunter, in quotes, of love who likes and preys upon tame boys. Is of a different gender than Furfur. I can't tell if I can't tell if I like or don't like that. It's just like they don't even, I think it's done. It just, both of them mention is of a different gender than the other, but then it doesn't even like say, I mean, all right. I will say I do like the black and white color scheme in general more than yellow and green. It's more pleasing to my eyes, the yellow and white and black, and then even like this shade of blue is nice. So I'm gonna give color scheme to Zepar here. And that's pretty much all I have to say. I mean, the purple is great too. Purple accents here on the bottom. Yeah, that's about all I have to say there. Okay, and we continue. You know what? For a Tuesday stream, I'm glad we had some serious moments where we're talking about like Battler. He's like wrestling with himself potentially about like, I don't know how to feel about all this thing, and some deep moments. And now we get seemingly the other side of the coin. The jovial nature. Zepar says, long time no see. You seem to be in high spirits as always. But what a cute little sister you have. I'll bet those teary, juicy eyes taste like white peaches. Well, I wonder. Zepar and Furfur latched onto Beato from either side, wearing strange smiles. Each movement they made was exaggerated yet polished, as though they were acting out a play. Leave it at that for now, demons of the contract. To think that tonight will be the last time we see that mischievous spirit. It will be dearly missed. The last time? The brooch, our vessel, has already been destroyed. In other words, our role is finished after this.
今まで本当に楽しかったわベアトリーチェ
Ah, yes, it has been fun, Beatrice.
でも契約時の取り決めでね
However, it was decided when the contract was made.
最後の別れにもう一度だけ力を貸さねばならないと決まっていたのさ
It was decided that we must lend our power one more time before our final farewell.
だからこれが正真正銘最後の奇跡
So, this is truly the final miracle.
愛の奇跡は一度で十分
Once is enough for the miracle of love.
だって永久の愛に二度目は不要なのだから
After all, eternal love will never be needed a second time.
そういうわけ
There you have it.
愛し合う男女たちよ
Lovers,
ここに集いしは奇跡なくして恋を成就できぬ呪われし者たち
those gathered here have been cursed to have unfulfilled love unless a miracle occurs.
その奇跡を与える黄金蝶のブローチの力は泣こうがわめこうが今宵限り最後のチャンス
Your last chance is the power of the golden butterfly brooch, which can grant such a miracle. And like it or not, this chance is limited to this evening.
それは一組のつがいにしか与えられぬ
This miracle can be given only to a single pair.
僕は負けないよ
I won't lose. Yeah,
お互い頑張ろうね
let's both give it our all. Shen and Kennen exchanged serious gazes. Both had already readied themselves to fight for the sake of their love.
よくわからねえけどよ
I don't really get it.
おかしな悪魔の力なんて世話になる気はねえぜ
But I don't want to borrow the power of some strange demon. Jessica was finally starting to figure this place out. These demons were probably planning to pit her and Cannon against George and Shannon.
はっきり言わせてもらうが余計なお世話だぜ
Let me be clear. This is none of your business.
私とカノン君の仲は私とカノン君でどうにかする
Cannon and I can handle our relationship by ourselves.
怪しげな悪魔の世話になんかなる義理はさらさらねえぜ
I shouldn't have to put myself in the debt with some bizarre demons.
お嬢様聞いてください
My lady, please listen.
この試練を乗り越えなければ
If we don't overcome this trial,
僕たちは結ばれないのです
we cannot be together.
ジェシカ受け入れよ
Jessica, accept it.
それが家具の身で人間と結ばれようと願う身の程知らずに課せられる唯一の試練なのである
This is the only trial that could possibly be imposed on upstart furniture wishing to be joined with a human.
家具とか人間とか
More of this stuff about furniture and humans.
勝手に言ってろってんだ
Don't butt in!
私たちには何の関係もねえぜ
This has nothing to do with us.
お嬢様にはまだ話していないの
You still haven't told me, lady?
どう説明すればいいかわからなくて
I didn't know how I should explain it. Man, Cannon really dropping the ball here.
カノン君もシャノンもジョージ兄さんも
Cannon-kun, Shannon, and you, George Nissan.
どうしてこんなうさんくさい話に耳を貸してんだ
Why are you listening to these creeps?
人の恋路を邪魔するやつは馬に蹴られて死ねって決まってんだぜ
No one could stand in the way of a person's love.
なんで悪魔たちに認められなきゃならねえんだよ
Why do we have to please these demons?
余計なお世話だぜ
It's none of their business.
さては困ったわからず屋がいたものよ
Well, it seems we have quite a troublesome blockhead among us.
この
Damn.
ままゲームを始めてもよいがそれではフェアとは言えぬな
We could begin the game like this, but that would hardly be fair.
説明してあげてもいいのではないでしょうか
Couldn't you explain it for her?
私にもよくわかりません
I don't understand it that well myself.
ジェシカさんとカノンさんの恋に何か問題でもあるというのですか
Is there some kind of problem with the love between Jessica-san and Kennen-san?
やれやれ
Oh my.
どうやら君も君たちも何も分かっていないようだね。
Seems you and the others understand nothing at all.
私たちに祝福されれば二人の恋をゆっくり育むことができるの。
With our blessing, the pair can cultivate their love at their leisure.
うさんくさい悪魔も何にも関係ないわ。
No need to worry about suspicious demons.
でももし僕らに祝福されなければ
However, without our blessing,
君たちの恋路は消えてなくなり枯れてしおれて消えてしまう。
your love will vanish, disappear, wither, and decay.
なんでそんなことが言えるんだよ。
How the hell are you so sure?
運命だから
Because that is fate.
認めないのも自由、抗わないことだって自由。
You are free to choose not to accept it, free to choose not to resist it.
抗わないとどうなるんですか？
Oh, and what happens if you choose not to resist it?
恋路が終わる。
That love will end. Also, earlier, when I was saying that I was putting my money on Jessica and Cannon, I was failing to account for Jessica's mental game. So, if she takes herself out or psychs herself out of whatever competition she has to do, by being just stubborn and unwilling to just roll with it, less than George, apparently. George is like, yeah, I gotta fucking do this, whatever this is. If she can't get over it, then never mind. That love will end.
と抽象的な言い方では納得すまい。
But perhaps an abstract explanation isn't so convincing.
はて、どう説明すればそなたの運命の袋小路を説明できるのか。
Well, now, how can one explain the dead-end fate you're in?
後ろ宮ジェシカ、君が信じているよりはるかに君たちの未来は前途多難。
Ishurmiya Jessica, a future shared between the two of you would be far more grim than you realize.
魔法の奇跡が得られなかったなら必ずや二人に災いが訪れるの。
If you don't gain the miracle of magic, disaster will most certainly befall you.
そしてそれがかぶれ、ただれ、
Then it will cover you, fester within,
二人を破綻させる。
and split the two of you apart.
わらわもその過程を詳細に語るほど無粋ではない。
Even I will not be so boorish as to describe the details of that process.
しかしジェシカが信じぬというなら破綻の最後だけ語ろう。
However, if you don't believe, Jessica, I'll tell you how it ends.
カノンは使用人をやめこの島を去る。
Canon will stop being a servant and will leave the island
永遠にな。
for all eternity.
君は島を出て思い人を探す旅に出るだろうね。しかしそれは決して報われない。
You'll probably leave the island yourself in search of the one you love, but such a venture will doubtless be in vain.
そうしてあなたは嘆いて恨むの。
Yes, and then you will mourn and hate.
誰を？
Hate who?
あなたを。
You.
僕をかい？
Me?
いいえ、今のあなたを。
No, the you of this moment. With a dramatic gesture, the two of them got cut off and then pointed at Jessica. They were saying that if she left, the person left with the regrets would be Jessica herself. What?
何よ。
What the hell are you
言ってやがる。
saying?
思い人を失ったあなたはその時気づくわ。
When you've lost the one you love, you'll realize.
思いを遂げる試練を逃げたあの時の自分が憎いって。
You'll realize how much you hate the person you were when you ran away from the child to complete that love.
そうさ、僕たちは未来の君からのメッセンジャー。
Yes, we're messengers from the you of the future.
どうか今のこの瞬間を君の恋に真剣になって 戦いに臨んでほしい。
Please, at this very moment, take your love seriously and fight.
もしあなたが未来の自分のメッセージに耳を貸さないならば
And if you don't listen to the message of the you from the future,
王を飲み込む愚かな蛇はそのままどんどん飲み込み続け、
the foolish snake eating its own tail will keep on gulping.
永遠の苦悩の輪廻は自らを飲み込み消えるのみよ。
The endless cycle of suffering will swallow you up, and you will simply vanish.
わけがわからない。
What the hell are you talking about? Jessica's confusion showed on her face as anger. However, a memory of something she'd heard a long time ago welled up in the back of her mind. Unlike Nissan, I don't plan on working here for many years. After just a few years, or possibly, Nissan ever decides to stop working here, I think I'll stop working too.
カノン
Cannon-kun.
そなたが魔法の奇跡をシャノンとジョージに譲るなら、
If you give up on the miracle of magic and hand it over to Shannon and George,
二人は結ばれ島を出る。
they will be joined and will leave the island.
そしてカノンもまた島を出る。
Following that, Cannon will leave the island as well.
それは避け得ぬ運命なのだ。
That is fate, and unavoidable.
では魔法の奇跡を得られたなら
Then what if they can obtain the miracle of magic?
無論カノンは島にとどまり、いつまでもジェシカのそばにいる。
Of course, Cannon will remain on the island, but by Jessica's side for all time.
ジェシカが望んだ音楽活動とやらも一緒に始められるだろう。
He'll probably start learning music with Jessica as she desires.
それ以上の関係にどう進むかは愛し合う二人の問題だ。
How the relationship will progress afterwards is a matter for the two lovers.
ジェシカが望むように二人だけでゆっくりと関係を育めばよい。
They can deepen their relationship slowly, all by themselves, as Jessica wanted.
ただ
However,
その場合は私とジョージさんもまた結ばれません。
if that happens, George-san and I will not be joined.
僕たちは自らの幸せと未来をかけて
Fate demands that we fight,
戦わねばならぬ運命なんです。
putting our happiness and futures on the line.
ふざけるなよ。
Are you kidding me?
なんだよそれ。
What the hell?
つまり自分たちが結ばれれば必ず相手は破綻するのか。
So if we are joined, the other pair will split apart?
そんな悪魔のゲーム冗談じゃねえぜ。
What kind of demon's game is this?
間違えるな。
Don't be mistaken.
そなたらが奪い合うゲームではない。
You'll not be taking something from each other.
黄金蝶のブローチの力がなければ、そもそもどちらの恋も実らぬ運命なのだ。
Without the power of the golden butterfly brooch, neither love is fated to bear fruit. I don't know if that's a right way of looking at this. I don't think, I mean, if this Beatrice the Elder, was trying to convince me, if I was in Jessica's place right now, and she's like, oh, don't worry, you guys are fighting for this thing, but it's not, don't look at it as if you're taking away from the other person. I'd be like, no, it's, I feel like that is the case. You can't convince me.
誰がそんな運命を決めたんだよ。
And who the hell decided that?
恋を許されぬ家具に恋した。そなたらの罪ゆえにだ。
It is due to your sin of falling in love with furniture, which is not allowed to love.
カノンはそなたにはっきりと、家具は恋をする資格がないと拒んだはず。
Didn't Cannon clearly reject you, saying that furniture was not qualified to love?
そなたはそれを承知で、カノンを恋の相手に選んだのだ。
Knowing that, you chose Cannon as the one you loved.
知らぬとは言わせぬ。
I won't let you get away with saying you didn't know. Yeah, Jessica, take that. Though she couldn't accept any of it, Jessica was unable to argue back. Then, George spoke up with that soft tone that he always used to smooth things over. However, his expression was still ruthlessly serious.
Jessica-chan.
Jessica-chan?
こう考えないかい?
Can't you think of it this way?
考えるって何を?
Think of it what way?
僕はね、シャノンを愛している。
I love Shannon.
どんな試練も障害も、すべて乗り越えて結ばれようという覚悟を持っているよ。
I am prepared to overcome any and all trials and obstacles that stand in the way of us being together.
君はどうだい?
What about you?
そりゃ私だって多少のことでへこたれるほど嫌なつもりはねえぜ。
Well, I'm not so weak that I'd lose heart that easily. Yes.
なら、そういうことだよ。
That's it exactly.
僕たちは今、試されているのさ。
At this moment, we are being tested.
僕たちがどれだけ気持ちの強さを示せるかということをね。
Just to see who can display the strength of our feelings more strongly. A good old-fashioned love off. Whose love is stronger?
ジョージ兄さんはこのわけのわからない話で納得してるっていうのかよ。
Are you saying that you actually support this crazy plan of theirs?
納得なんか必要ないよ。
It doesn't matter whether I support it or not.
僕はシャノンと結ばれるために全ての試練と障害と戦うことを婚約指輪にかけて誓った。
When I gave Shannon that engagement ring, I swore to fight all trials and barriers that stand in my way.
どんな理不尽な到底理解できない試練であっても
No matter how unreasonable or incomprehensible those trials might be,
僕に退くという選択肢はないね。
cannot choose to avoid them. George spoke clearly, then looked at Jessica with a cold gaze. By now, Jessica almost understood. If she kept on grumbling and avoiding this demon's trial, the game between the two groups would automatically end with her defeat by default. In other words, George and Shannon would win. Then, they would gain the miracle magic, their love would be completed, and Jessica and Cannon would split apart, with Cannon eventually leaving the island and never seeing her again.
僕にとって
Nothing would make me happier.
君がこの試練を辞退してくれるならこれほど嬉しいことはないんだ。
Than to see you step out of this trial.
君と戦わなくて済むからね。
That way, I wouldn't have to fight you.
そして君のカノン君への思いはその程度のものだったんだねと
And that would
蔑むことになるんだ。
And that would show the limits of your feelings for Kanekun. It seemed as though George spoke ruthlessly, but it was actually being exceptionally fair. If Jessica lost by default, she would never be able to clear away her lingering regrets. That would leave a bad aftertaste for George as well.
僕たちはたった一つの奇跡をめぐって正々堂々と戦わなくちゃならない。
We must fight openly for that single miracle.
その結果、仮に僕が敗れたとしても
Even if I lose at the end,
互いがベストを尽くして戦った上での結果なら諦めがつく。
I'll be able to accept it if we both gave it our all.
そしてだからこそ心の底から相手を祝福できるんだ。
And because of that, I'll be able to cheer on the victors from the bottom of my heart.
ジョージの覚悟、なかなかのものよ。
George's determination is quite impressive.
そこまで言われて
After hearing that,
君は逃げ出すのかい?
are you still going to run away? The two demons giggled and challenged her. Of course, George didn't laugh, but he still challenged her with cold eyes.
シャノンは
And Shannon?
お許しください、お嬢様。
Please forgive me, lady.
私はジョージさんと結ばれるために一歩たりとも引かない覚悟です。
I'm determined not to flinch in my resolve.
たとえ
Even if I know
私の思いを貫くことが
that's sticking to my feelings.
お嬢様の恋路を閉ざすことを知っていようとも
means ending your loving relationship, milady. There's no way this is going to resolve with one of them winning and one of them losing, right? There's no way this game would do that. There's no way this story would do that. I feel it's going to be one or the other. Either somehow, by some miracle, they both win, or by some upsetting circumstance, they both lose. There's no... I cannot believe. I would not be able to fathom this game choosing one of these relationships and saying the other relationship is not as strong. Because whatever this test ends up being, at the very least, it's either going to be literally or metaphorically a test of their love strength, right? And so, if one of them loses, then that is the game itself saying this couple's love is not as strong. And then you piss off all the fans. I've learned it well. All the Nanjo heads coming at me being like, oh, you always shit talk Nanjo. Imagine the writer of Umineko being like, this Canon and Jessica's love is not as strong as George and Shannon's. And then you have all the Jessica stands. You have all the Canon crazy fanatics. Starts with a K. Crazy starts with a K. Canon crazy fanatics out there. And they're like, how dare you say that about our couple? Then you just piss off a bunch of people. I'm mostly joking when I say all this, but... hear me out. If there is a winner, who would it be? If there is a winner, who would it be? God, see, it goes back to what I was saying, right? It feels like this should be a slam dunk for for Shannon and George. Their resolve and their determination to make it work seems just a lot more stronger than the slapdash Jessica and Canon relationship. But the thing is, that's exactly why I want to say if there was one winner, it would be the opposite. It would be like a reverse psychology type situation where it's like, oh, the underdogs. You would look at George and Shannon and be like, this is so obvious that they could win if it's just a pure test of love. But for that reason, I would say if I had to put my life savings on it, if in fact one of them wins and one loses, there's a part of me that wants to say Jessica and Canon wins. For that exact reason. That George and Shannon winning is too obvious. I get how stories are written. Shannon, did I read that? I don't know if I read that. Please forgive me. I'm determined not to... even though I know that sticking to my feelings means ending your loving relationship. Shannon had never before spoken to Jessica with such serious and solemn words. Do I think Feathering cares? Good question. Good question. Jessica realized what a strong will had dealt within her usually weak and clumsy friend, and was surprised. Canon-kun. I want to start a new life with you, milady. Even if that life means crushing Nissan's happiness. I will not falter. Canon was also doing all he could to restrain himself. Yes, all of them were being serious and frank, and abandoning any naivety they might have possessed. All this about golden butterfly brooches and miracles of magic, and the trial that the demons were giving them, none of it mattered. Only one thing was being tested, whether or not they possessed the strong will to make their love come true. Jessica clenched her fists and hung her head, shaking while biting her lower lip. She was silent, but she would probably gain an unswerving will of steel before too long. She just needed a little time first. The two demons who taunted people with dramatic gestures did not violate the silence that Jessica needed to resolve herself. Love brings about conflict, and this conflict gives rise to determination. As the demons of love, they could understand more fully than any others how noble that determination was. She's summoning her energy. Jessica-san. Jessica-san.
そしてその魔法の奇跡はそなたであっても享受できるものであるぞ。
Furthermore, this magical miracle is something that can be received by you as well.
私にも
By me too?
それはどういう
What do you mean? Oh no, there's a third potential recipient. She had thought this has been about two pairs of lovers. Beato was surprised to suddenly hear that this had something to do with her as well.
黄金蝶のブローチの奇跡は
With the miracle of the golden butterfly brooch.
そなたの願い
Even your wish.
バトラーへの行為を認められたいという願いさえも叶えることはたやすい。
Your wish that your affection for Battle will be acknowledged can be granted easily.
そしてその奇跡なくして結ばれることもまた
And without such a miracle,
ない。
oh, I guess that was it. You too can never be bound to him. The miracle of even your wish that your affection for Battle will be acknowledged can be granted. Okay. Alright, see, this is what I was saying. Secret third contestant. Maybe Beatrice wins it. And then, therefore, Jessica and George lose.
君も蚊帳の外じゃないということさ。
It means you're no outsider to this either.
愛の沼を渡りきりたい
To cut across the marshes of love.
あなたの望みのはず
That is your wish, is it not?
僕たちは君の願いだって決してないがしろにしたりはしない。
We will not make light of your wish.
そなたとバトラの関係とてやがてはただれ腐り落ちる。
Even your relationship with Battle will eventually fester and rot.
いくら楽観的なそなたであっても
No matter how much of a positive outlook you take.
何かの奇跡がない限りやがてはそのような運命を迎えることをすでに理解しているはずだ。
You know that this fate will eventually come to pass, bearing some kind of miracle.
それは
Well, Beato hung her head sadly. She hadn't wanted to lose heart from that cookie incident. However, it would have been a massive lie to say that it hadn't hurt her. The more she tried to get close to Battler, the more she hurt him. However, she had been born in order to get close to Battler. She was like a hedgehog freezing in the cold and bunching together for warmth. Okay. Sure, yeah. She's like a hedgehog. Okay, yeah, I get it. She had approached him because of love, and had been hurt for it.
そこまで分かっているなら奇跡に託すのもまた一興というものよ。
If you understand that much, trusting your fate to a miracle may prove to be of some interest.
川の宝くじに当たりなしとも言うでな。
As I say, an unbought lottery ticket earns you nothing.
ゼパル、フルフル。
Zepar! Furfur! Furfur! How is she saying it? Furfur. Furfur.
このわらわの妹も加えよ。
Whatever. Let my little sister join in too.
ああ、もちろん。
Furfur. Furu. 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 Yeah, there was like, yeah, that's why I was confused. I was thrown off. I was like, oh, of course.
よろしくもう一人のベアトリーチェ
Welcome, second Beatrice.
私たちは初めからあなたも加えるつもりでいましたわ
We were planning on including you from the very beginning.
なぜなら僕らはゼパルとフルフル
Hoodoo hoodoo. Hoodoo hoodoo. After all, we are Zepar and Furfur.
愛を司る悪魔だから
The demons of love.
私も参加してもよろしいのでしょうか
They're gonna scare her. Look at her face. She's like, you're scaring a little child. May I join in as well?
君が望むならいいんじゃないかい
If you want to, I don't see a problem.
誰であっても僕は拒まないよ。
I won't prevent anyone from entering.
すべての障害に勝利し、全員に僕たちを祝福させる。
We'll win against all hindrances and make everyone celebrate our union. See, this is the mentality you need. Look at this steel mentality George has. He's like, I'll take everyone on.
もちろん逆でもさ。
I just pathetically explained to Shannon how I was such a loser of a young man. And how I just assumed people would fall for me if I just wasn't an idiot. But I learned. I learned the women love the idiots. They love the himbos. Of course, it's the same the other way around.
全力の僕たちを退けて成し得た恋ならば、
If you succeed in love by defeating us at our best,
僕もシャノンも心の底から勝利した二人を祝福することを約束するよ。
then both Shannon and I promise to sincerely support the pair that wins.
ね、シャノン。
Right, Shannon?
はい。
Yes.
私たちは負けません。
We will not lose.
そして負けても心の底から祝福します。
And even if we did, we would cheer you on from the bottom of our hearts. I don't know. Someone's gonna lose this competition, and they are gonna be bummed. They are going to be sad no matter what they say. They will be sad. And I will be there to revel in the sadness. I feel the same.
僕は負けません。
I will not lose.
引けない喧嘩だってんなら
Well, if there's no way out of this fight,
買おうじゃねえかよ。
let's show them what we've got.
私もカノン君も
No matter what.
不先輩ってのだけはごめんだぜ。
Candy-kun and I don't plan on losing.
それはそなたもだな。
You feel the same, do you not?
はい。
Yes.
お父様に
If there's even a small chance that father...
いえ、
No.
バトラーさんに
There you go.
私を認めてもらえる可能性が
That
わずかでもいただけるなら
that battler-san will acknowledge me?
私もそれに自らをかけたいと思います。
I'm willing to put myself on the line.
よくぞ言った。
Well said.
それでこそ我が妹。
Good going, little sister.
ゼパル、フルフル。
Zepar! Beautiful.
役者は揃ったぞ。
The actors have gathered.
それでは始めようか、フルフル。
Cousin fight. Where's Maria to round it up? We don't need to add Maria into this. She's still mentally recovering from getting bodied by Erica. We don't need to bring her into it. Then let's begin. Fur.
ええ、始めましょう。ゼパル。
Yes, let us begin, Zepar.
たった一つの魔法の奇跡をめぐっての愛し合う者たちの試練を。
Let's begin this trial of lovers, the fight over a single miracle of magic. Perfect. Excellent. I'm so pumped. I'm so pumped and jazzed to see what this competition is. I just fear that we're not going to see it. We're going to have to wait quite a bit of time. It's going to jump to a different perspective for a while here, isn't it? Ah, yes, Erica. All right, let's go ahead. It seems early, but let's go ahead and call it a night. We got a clean stopping point here. Plus the good tease of whatever this love test is. I hope they go to like old school like game show Newlywed game. You just like write a question, you know, like where it's like you get asked a question and then you write an answer on a board and it's like, what does your partner say is your best feature? And then you have to be like, oh, what would your partner say? And then you have to be like, my hair. And then your partner comes in and then they got to be like, then they get asked the question and then they say the wrong thing and then you reveal the answer and they're like, oh, how could you say my personality? It's definitely my hair. And they're like, oh, you're so silly. You're so silly. That's what I'm hoping this ends up being. Or just a physical fight. I'm willing to see a physical fight if that's what it needs to be. That's acceptable to me as well. Either or. But thank you so much for watching. We'll continue this Saturday night. I don't think I'll be missing Saturday night stream. So more Umineko on Saturday. Stream tomorrow as well. I should be back with probably Paranormal Site. Maybe a little something beforehand, but not 100% sure. It kind of depends on how tomorrow shakes out. But definitely probably Paranormal Site tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this part. Oh, I didn't make mention. I'm pretty sure this is part 69 of Umineko. It just feels like I should mention it. But yeah, thanks so much. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Have a great rest of your Tuesday night. Have a great Wednesday. Have a great rest of your week. If I don't see you then, until Umineko on Saturday. So long. Farewell.